Yeah, you're trying to attack me, which is ridiculous, like asking me what my salary is. Sure, I'll reveal it willingly.
You brought it up in context. I'm asking,
no,
why don't you live like a socialist?
Okay.
Go live like a socialist.
The point is larger than that, Charlie.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Chank.
guys.
I live as a capitalist,
Hey.
I live what I believe.
This was the moment that a titan had fallen. This is when his operation came crumbling down. His life's work to promote an organization that was interested in promoting free market, constitutional values. And this was when any remaining credibility he might have claimed for himself in the past came crumbling down. But wait a second, who is this rambling, incoherent buffoon? How did someone who many deemed as a major player in conservative politics become emotionally triggered by the big buffalo man, Cenk Uygur himself? Well, friends, this is a story about the man, the meme, Charlie Kirk.
That's the sweat of the blues explosion. That's the sweat of the blues explosion. That's the sweat. I wanna, yeah.
Now, in understanding where this mama's boy of a man appeared from, we need to understand the roots of his self-run advocacy organization, TPUSA. In order to understand the upbringings of TPUSA, we must understand what the political climate was like back in 2012. 2012 was the year that Barack Obama ran for his second term of his presidency. The Tea Party had become a fairly vocal opposition to Barack Obama's policies, and conservatives were ready to win big this time with Mitt Romney. Except, this endeavor wasn't turning out as well as they intended. Obama had the support of a large percentage of the millennial population, who saw themselves as a more socially woke unit, to say the least. Also keeping in mind that John McCain had lost horribly to Barack Obama 4 years beforehand, and many moderate conservatives were not open to the Tea Party's backlash against Obama's presidency. As a young high school student who was vocal about arrogant teachers and high school cookie prices during lunchtime, Kirk noticed that Obama's campaign possessed something Romney's and McCain's campaigns didn't have: a woke coolness factor. Millennials were brought to Obama's campaign by his massive social media campaign and his message of hope and change being embedded in his campaign posters. Kirk wanted to embark on the same journey in promoting conservative values to a younger generation, but this time he wanted to promote conservatism as a cool, hip counterculture to leftism. This new marketing ploy may have been smart in promoting his organization and enticing investors. However, it was probably one of the worst decisions he could have made for maintaining interest in conservatism in the long run. Fast forward to the election of Donald Trump in 2016, and TPUSA was alive and quickly growing as one of America's most active college conservative organizations. Charlie Kirk had acquired some popularity by this point by being a young advocate for conservatism against a left who was pushing divisive narratives of white privilege and Black Lives Matter. TPUSA was parading around campuses with cool signs like "Big Government Sucks" and providing unequivocal support for Republican candidates. This in itself was not out of the ordinary. What was out of the ordinary was TPUSA was not only absorbing policies that mainstream conservatives rejected for decades, but it was also absorbing the personality and the demeanor of its leader, Donald J. Trump. At this point, there are many examples of this behavior to recount, some of which Kirk actually approved of. While I can give him some credit for building up an organization from basically nothing, Kirk is responsible for the organizational mess that has plagued TPUSA for a while now. One example can be found while investigating the 2017 Student Action Summit, a conference where young conservatives meet and finagle with like-minded people. Looking at the 2017 Student Action Summit, many students were left with no supervision. This may seem minor at first, but seeing that the safety of these students was mainly placed in the hands of the hotel staff, it is apparent Kirk and his posse were nowhere to be seen. At this same conference, There were 2 anonymous reports of sexual assault. Now, it is true that our friend Charlie has doubled down on its no-tolerance policy for sexual harassment at TPUSA conferences by saying the following. "We have never not dealt with the issue. I get very passionate about this, because the implication is somehow I've swept the stuff under the rug. That's bullshit." However, the Washington Times was unable to find any attendees or former employees who could confidently support Charlie's claim. We can also look at incidents where Kirk abandons his responsibilities towards his organization on a recurring basis. Recently, Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens were due to speak at Virginia Tech. However, upon obtaining a chance to meet Kanye West in Hollywood, Kirk and Owens canceled the scheduled speech at Virginia Tech at the last minute, according to TPUSA organizer Ken Stiles. Charlie's negligence of students in favor of hanging out with pop stars shows everyone how he's just interested in assuming prominence and fame, which isn't a horrible goal by itself. However, Kirk's pleas to appeal to conservative students and his attempt to remain one of the leading conservative voices in America falls flat when he rejects his core audience like this. The most infamous of these incidents was when TPUSA participants donned themselves in diapers and pacifiers to ridicule the comical suggestion of safe spaces in colleges. This ridiculous stunt, of course, backfired on the organization, uniting liberals and conservatives alike against attempts to cater to the lowest of hanging fruits. While TPUSA and Kirk were forced to disown the event, well-known Gunslinger Girl cosplayer Caitlin Bennett spoke up and explained that it was actually Charlie and TPUSA who was knowledgeable of the event and provided no emotional support towards it. As a result of this event, Bennett forever became known as the Diaper Girl, with people sending her memes of conservatives in diapers. This of course embarrassed her, leading her to work for a conservative blogging website, thus leading her to perform idiotic stunts of her own.
She's gonna eat it! The did you say to me? You know I carry, right?
But then again, enough about her. The reason why these developments are so important to the story of Charlie Kirk was not only because of the organization itself, but this new shift towards excusing abnormal behavior is entirely Charlie Kirk's fault. TPUSA could have been an intellectual endeavor against the left's constant pandering to the lowest of hanging fruits. It could have also been a center for providing a positive atmosphere for debate and exchange of ideas. I am supportive of this kind of atmosphere, and I wish Kirk's effort encouraged young college conservatives to think critically and skeptically. Instead, Kirk followed the money and helped push the GOP into its current identity crisis state, where it seems like the only policy it supports is making excuses for President Trump. In my view, conservatism has never been cool. Old school conservatism was really about discussing ideas, discussing stats, providing skepticism to newer trends, and maybe every once in a while agreeing with our adversaries. Looking at William F. Buckley's old interviews tells us everything we need to know.
You know that he blushes and he seems so tough, when you watch the show? And he's constantly blushing. He's like a young girl.
You haven't said anything nice to me that I should blush about.
Now, if you're a college conservative watching this video and thinking, man, TPUSA sucks ass, are there any good conservative advocacy organizations besides TPUSA? Well, glad you asked, because I'm getting my friend Alex Mirashanu to help us out. Who is Alex Mirashanu, you may ask? Alex is a moderate Republican who is a college student right now who I actually trust a lot with regards to this because he's actually had experience with college organizations. Well, I mean, he's not actually in this video, but I pretty much just DM'd him and asked if there are other organizations besides TPUSA to watch out for. Paraphrasing what Alex told me through Twitter DMs, he basically said there are 3 organizations worth noting. Lone Conservative, which is a young organization designed for young conservative bloggers, is one that has not a lot of baggage and actually gives rise to a lot of different types of voices. I actually follow quite a few of them on Twitter myself. And the other two organizations he mentioned were AEI and the National Review Institute, NRI, which are organizations specifically catered to talking about conservative policy. So AEI and NRI will have a lot of meetings regarding trade and low taxes and yada yada yada, the list goes on. So why did Charlie Kirk autistically screech at Politicon? Why is Charlie Kirk fighting against the left's biggest strawman, making not only conservatism but capitalism much more unattractive than ever before to millennials? Charlie Kirk has longed for the spotlight for such a long time. He has longed to walk in the footsteps of Kanye West as a cultural icon. Ironically, he's been failing at every step of the way, considering that he can't even begin to make an argument against someone who's not an extreme leftist. Congratulations, Charlie Kirk. You are a conservative dunce. So now we're at the end of the video. I want to thank Alex Narashanu for his quote with regards to conservative campus groups. I would recommend giving him a follow on Twitter. He's a smart, funny kid who likes neoliberal policy and memes. So I have a link to his Twitter in the description of this video to make this easier. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and most importantly, don't forget to share this video with our good friend Charlie so he'll get super triggered. I'm John Smith, and I hope to see you all in the next video.
Fire in her eyes.